if he wasn't the best at 39,999 and 39,998 and 39,997, he ain't the GOAT at 40K, all right? Stop it.
I'm going straight to the top. Just put the stack on the clock. I am Ray Allen's a shot. I'm going straight to the top.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Mike here, Sports and the Real Podcast, coming at you once again. Another episode. Appreciate y'all, as always, listening and watching, commenting, liking, all that stuff, man. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. I appreciate y'all, man. It means a lot. But let's get right into it, man. So last episode, before I get into what I really want to talk about today, which is a lot of NBA. Last episode, I talked about the fact that a lot of people were chirping. They're talking about, European players are taking over the NBA. And, and I provided, several reasons why that is. I talked about the fact that, the NBA changed the rules. I talked about the fact that, right now, basketball development in the U.S. sucks. I talked about a number of different reasons. And if you missed that episode, check that out. Why Euros international players are taking over the NBA. And these guys are ballers. I'm not taking away from them at all. They're ballers. And they have the right to be regarded as, big-time basketball players. But in posting, clips online and, by the way, other people, said the same thing, happened to say the same thing, right? So Gilbert Arenas' podcast, happened to talk about the same topic that same week when I posted mine. But when I posted my clips on social media, people were saying, it's xenophobic. People were calling Gilbert Arenas xenophobic because he said pretty much the same thing. And anybody who says anything about international players, and how the NBA changed the rules for them, we're called xenophobic and, names and, racist and all this stuff. And it's crazy. So before I jump into what I really want to talk about today, I want to provide a rebuttal. All right, for those of you who think I'm xenophobic and anybody who says anything negative about European players and international players is xenophobic and racist, let me provide a rebuttal. All right. It is not xenophobic to say, as an American, to say that the NBA changed the rules and it benefited European players. Yes, the rule changes benefited American players. Steph Curry benefited. Okay, if people were able to bump him as he was running all the time, maybe he doesn't get off as much. Who knows? LeBron was benefited from rule changes because his career got extended because it's not as physical. There's not dudes in the paint elbowing him and knocking him on his butt every time he drives. So now he's able to get to 40,000 points, extend his career. Yes, American players, a lot of them benefited from rule changes and have made a lot of money from the rule changes, which expanded the game and brought in more viewers, bigger TV contracts. All that stuff is true. But to act like it's xenophobic to say that the rule changes benefited European players is crazy because the NBA basketball had a distinct style. It was different. It wasn't just basketball like it's played across the world. It was different. NBA basketball back in the day before all of these rules changes was different. And as a result, European and international players who came in, some of them succeeded, but a lot of them did not. And that's because it was more challenging for them. It's not xenophobic to say the rules changes benefited international players. It's not racist. The NBA style was distinct. It was a playground style. It was, I'm coming at you. It was physical. It was athletic. It was high IQ. So it wasn't just, dudes running around, it was physical. It was imaginative, but they've taken some of that stuff out. So they took out the physicality and I'm coming at you and I'm talking trash. They took that out and that benefited European players, international players. It's not xenophobic to admit that the rules changes benefited international players. It's not that these cats can't ball. It's that the rules changes made it easier, along with the fact that America now has a difficult time developing actual good basketball players, which is a whole different topic. Now, yeah, the Euros are dominating the NBA. But back in the day, the European players and the international players had to adapt to the NBA. But the NBA changed the rules to become more like Europe. And as Dirk Nowitzki said, the European players came and took advantage of it. So now they could come in and move freely. There wasn't no physicality there to stop them. That's not xenophobic to admit that. There's nothing wrong with NBA players and analysts saying the NBA changed the game to sell the game overseas. And as a result, a lot more international players are able to come in and find success. I'm not talking about the Jokers and the Lukas because those guys are ballers regardless. Giannis is a baller regardless. So is Joel Embiid. But the rule changes made a difference. Like you changed the NBA style from what made it an American game. The athleticism, the imagination that was in it, the physicality, the in your face, like all that together made American basketball, but you took out two of those components. You took out the physicality, you took out the in-your-face aspect of it to now where everybody gets a tech for everything, for looking at somebody wrong, except for Draymond. That was NBA American basketball. So when dudes are like, well, Euros are taking over, you have to explain why that is. And you have to understand why American dudes take offense when you say international players are taking over in your American basketball is not the top of the top dog anymore. So when KD challenges that notion, it's not xenophobic. And that's why they're assembling the Avengers to go to the Olympics and blow everybody out by 50. Because they feel disrespected. People are saying the international players are taking over the NBA without wanting to list the reasons why that is. The NBA took out physicality and it benefited them. Like at one point, if people remember, right? At one point, people were like, the big man is not needed anymore. The big center is not needed anymore. People had the audacity to open their mouth to say that Shaq would not dominate in this league. Shaq would be run off the court in today's NBA. So for the last decade plus, America has not groomed any big men. All we've groomed is these small, skinny dudes who only know how to catch lobs under the pretense and the premise that you had to be able to switch and move your feet on these pick and rolls and everything like that. Meanwhile, the Joker can't stay in front of nobody. Like, I can blow by the Joker right now. But he's the best in the game because the defensive scheme in Denver has found a way to hide his weakness on defense. But we spent the last decade plus saying, we don't want to be physical anymore. We took out the big power four. We made it, a stretch four. Like, we did all these things to sell the game overseas to make it less physical. So now America can't grow a big man to save their life. They took away all the big men. They took away Dwight. They took away DeMarcus Cousins. They said Dwight didn't have a place in the league anymore. They said DeMarcus Cousins didn't have a place in the league anymore. So there are no longer any more American big men because America, the development process, which sucks, but developmentally, America was trying to bring in these tall, skinny dudes who are athletic, who can move their feet. But now we look up, and it's a big, slow, unathletic guy who's dominating everybody, and his competitors, the guys who he's competing against, are some twigs who he's got by 100 pounds, and he's dominating them, except for Joel Embiid. So yes, the game changed, and it's okay to admit that. I'm not blaming the NBA for wanting more money, but just admit that the game changed. It's not xenophobic for NBA players to say the game changed, man. The NBA game changed as a result. There's a big influx of international players. Just like it wouldn't be xenophobic for Europeans and others and South Americans to say, hey, man, we're the best at soccer. Americans suck at soccer. It's not xenophobic if South Americans, Brazilians, Argentinians, if Europeans, Spain and Germany, and even the English say Americans suck at soccer or we're better than them at soccer. It's not xenophobic. It's just the truth. Like, imagine what these soccer leagues would have to do to make it so that Americans can take over and become the greatest soccer players. I don't even know what that is. I don't know. Maybe let them start using their hands. Change the name from football to football. change the shape of the ball, that would give Americans a benefit. But it's a whole different sport. And the current basketball is different than the sport that was played before. Early 2000s basketball and before, it's a different NBA basketball game. And that's okay if you like all offense, and that's okay. But don't sit here and act like the NBA didn't change the rules. And that's all people are saying. It's not xenophobic. We don't hate Euros. Nobody hates the Joker. The man's a baller. I love the guy. Embiid is a straight baller. I already made the claim he's the best in the league. Unfortunately, he keeps getting hurt. Giannis is a lovable guy. He needs to work on his J. But there's a reason why soccer is soccer and is different everywhere. Basketball is basketball, but it's different everywhere. Like, soccer is played differently in South America than it is in Europe. These guys in Brazil are dancing with the ball. It's like, they're shaking and baking. Ronaldinho, like, this guy, he's Brazilian through and through. You're not creating Ronaldinho anywhere else in the world. You're not creating Ronaldinho in Germany. It's a different type of soccer. You're not creating Messi outside of Argentina. It's a different type of soccer. And that's okay. Like, Spain and England, they're not going to change their rules to make it so that, it's easier for guys in South America to come play there. No, you got to step your game up. And for a long time, European international basketball players had to step their game up. They had to be good enough to come to the NBA, but the NBA made it easier for them to come. We have to admit that. If you're great at a sport and you believe your country is great at a sport, and somebody changes the rules to make your league so that international or foreigners can come in, you're going to say something about it. Listen, man, I went to Jamaica for vacation over the summer, and the Jamaicans was like, while we were talking about track, Sha'Carri Richardson, and they were like, Sha'Carri ain't like that. Like, they were like, Jamaica is the best in the world in track and sprinting. And I'm like, but the U.S. got dudes too. We got the women too. But they believed it. Even though they weren't head and shoulders ahead, they believed that they were the best. So it's okay and nothing wrong with NBA players thinking we're the best basketball country and the world hasn't overtaken us. It's just that the NBA changed the rules to make it easier for dudes from international countries to come in and hoop. In addition to the U.S. basketball development being garbage right now. Two things can be true. So La Liga, I'm reading about this. La Liga, the European Soccer League, the Spanish Soccer League, only allows 4 non-European, European Union, EU players. So La Liga only allows 4 non-EU players or citizen per team. I talked about last time where the Chinese basketball team only allows 4 foreigners per team. Same thing with La Liga soccer. Them jokers ain't changed. They're not changing the rules, and they could stand to change the rules. La Liga, the Spanish Soccer League, can stand to change the rules to make more money. Right now, the NBA makes twice as much money as La Liga, but La Liga is not changing the rules to bring in more Americans, to allow more American players to join the league. Nah. You better be one of the best to play in La Liga. Why? They believe in cultivating the local talent. And that's fine. But ain't nobody going to say La Liga is xenophobic. Ain't nobody going to say the English Premier League is xenophobic for not bringing on more American players. If you want to play in the EPL, if you want to play in La Liga, step your game up. It ain't xenophobic. Step your game up. Unfortunately, the NBA wanted to expand and they wanted to grow viewership across the world. And as a result, they changed the game to do that. There's nothing wrong with saying that. It's not xenophobic, bro. What I think is possibly xenophobic is the American cockiness to say that, if Americans had focused more on soccer, we would dominate the world. Meaning like if, LeBron had played soccer growing up, if Tyreek Hill had played soccer growing up, they would be the best in the world. I think that's American elitism talking right there. Now that right there is disrespectful. because you're discounting, the history that a Messi and, a Ronaldinho and Neymar, like these guys, like this is a history of Brazilian soccer and Argentinian soccer that, they're building on to become who they are. And unfortunately, the U.S. doesn't have that yet. So no, I think that's disrespectful for people to say every 4 years during the World Cup to say, well, if the U.S. if these guys started playing soccer when they were younger, they would be dominant. Nah, man. The skill that these guys play with, the skill that these Germans play with, and these Spanish dudes play with, like that is years and years, of watching and playing soccer, man. That's their soccer evolving. So the NBA said, we just want the money, and that's fine. So I admit that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying the league changed the rules to accommodate an international audience, to bring in more people. And as a result, a lot more international dudes are now in the NBA. Nothing wrong with that. So that's why Kevin Durant and Bron and Steph and all these boys are going to go to the Olympics for one last hurrah and kill everybody. Unfortunately, with the way U.S. basketball development is, this might be the last stand, the last hurrah for American basketball. But it's not xenophobic, man. Get off of that. Nobody's gonna say, hey, man, England, they're xenophobic because they're not allowing American players to come in. They're not opening the door for more. They're not making it easier for more American players to come in. The Spanish league, La Liga, is not making it easier for Americans to come in. So they're xenophobic. Nah, step your game up. La Liga could use more money by hitting the American market. But he said, nah, fam, we're good. We're growing our local talent. And that's their prerogative. That's their decision. Adam Silver says, and these American owners say, we want more money. So we are going to change the rules, and we are going to go after a broader market. And that's their prerogative. It's their business. But don't act like stuff didn't change, because it did. It did. And don't call it xenophobic. All right, I'm going to get off that soapbox. Anyway, so one of the ways the NBA has changed, and really sports in general in America, one of the ways sports in general in America has changed is with analytics, as a result of analytics and the numbers, the importance of numbers now. Everything is numbers based. Analytics drives everything. Right? So Shaq made a comment this week, or maybe it was last week, a few days ago. Shaq made a comment which I agree with. So listen to this comment from Shaq real quick. All right? Listen to what Shaq got to say.
Hey, why you white people always talk about data?
Someone has to do it, bro.
We from the hood. We don't give a damn about no damn data.
What is the hood version of data?
Net ratings.
Go in there and bust your ass.
Net ratings.
Right, Candace?
You on the eye test, huh?
Back me up, Candace.
Back on the block.
Yeah.
Candace is from
Shaq on the block, man.
Yeah.
Shaq on the block. He don't want to care about the net.
All right, we'll see if they can bust that in the play.
RPIs and WARP.
I mean, I can't disagree. The only thing I'm gonna disagree with Shaq on is him saying, "Why do white guys?" Now, it's not just white guys. A lot of dudes, white, black, whatever, have drunk the analytics Kool-Aid, and that's what it's become. And that the why Shaq seems upset and a hater, and a lot of, we call it old heads, seem like haters, is because analytics is not just be seen as a tool anymore that helps you get to your destination. Analytics is now seen as a destination. Instead of analytics helping you win a game, seeing people's tendencies, people now, fans, even some in the NBA, people in the NBA, see analytics as like the goal. We have to be efficient. No, we have to win a game. Efficiency can help us get there, but even when we're not efficient, we can still win a basketball game. How do we win a game? That's it. How do we win a basketball game? And Shaq, speaking with his old school mind, is kind of lashing out saying, why does everything have to be about numbers? Because on a basketball court, I'm just trying to bust your ass and win a game. That's what Shaq is saying. And I agree. Like if you walk into a gym right now, you walk into LA Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, wherever, and you're trying to pick up teams and some dudes is talking about analytics and efficiency, that's a mid-ass gym, first of all. Get the hell out of there. But if you have no option to play, you ain't picking dude up. Ain't nobody in the gym talking about efficiency and warp and all these things in the gym. Nobody. Because in the gym, what you're looking for is somebody who's going to play hard, who's going to play with IQ, who's going to pass the ball, play as a team, play defense, lock his man down. When you're picking a team, you got him. You're looking at matchups. I got this guy, I got this guy, I got this guy. You got that guy. That's sports. That's basketball. Ain't nobody talking numbers. But nowadays, we've put numbers in front of actual basketball mind and actual strategy and what we see on film and what we see on the court. Baseball has that problem. Football has that problem. So I could see where Shaq is coming from. People may clown him, but anybody who's played basketball and sports know that. And like, sports is about more than just numbers. There's physicality that comes into it. When Shaq says he's trying to bust your ass, that means he's going at you. And that can include intimidation. Your numbers get thrown out the door when dude is intimidating you, when he's bigger than you and muscling you. All that efficiency stuff gets thrown out the door. Efficiency in these numbers tell you that, okay, this person, it can help you. This person likes to go left. This person likes to go right a lot. That helps you. But when the Boston Celtics coach says half of our shots have to be 3-pointers, that's how analytics is negatively used in basketball. Because when the Celtics lost to the Miami Heat, it's because the Miami Heat said, you're not shooting a layup and you're not shooting an open three. Now what? Show me your analytics. Nah, play basketball. Sometimes your best shot is the midi. It's not as efficient, but that's what you can get. And you should be good at it to where the Miami Heat doesn't feel comfortable allowing you to take a midi. But these numbers have overtaken actual basketball talk and actual basketball analysis to where people feel like the end goal is to be efficient and the end goal is to put up these analytical numbers and to look great on paper. Nah, man, the end goal is to make more shots than your opponent and to win the game. So people look down on somebody like Kobe Bryant to say he was inefficient. And people look down on Allen Iverson, to say he was inefficient. When the goal in these guys' minds was never to be efficient, the goal was to win the basketball game. And both of them did a hell of a lot of winning. Kobe Bryant did a hell of a lot of winning. Allen Iverson did a hell of a lot of winning. Forget your efficiency, dog. I'm trying to win a basketball game by any means necessary. Kobe didn't care about no efficiency. Michael Jordan didn't care about no efficiency. He was trying to win the game. He knew if he got you physically, if he got you mentally, psychologically, he could beat you. IQ, he could beat you. These boys weren't worried about being efficient. Yeah, there's a difference between, a ball hog. Like, we know what a ball hog is. And I've said it before on this podcast. Don't misconstrue us, talking about efficiency and inefficiency for people who don't know basketball, who don't know high IQ basketball. We know the difference between high IQ basketball and low IQ basketball. We know what a ball hog looks like. But anybody who's ever played basketball knows we'll take somebody taking a little bit more shots if they're playing defense and locking their man up and hustling. We'll take that. So you may shoot 45% from the field, but if you're locking your man up and you're playing great team defense, we'll take that. Who cares about efficiency if you're helping us win the game? The end goal is to win the game, not to be efficient. But in today's environment in sports talk, efficiency and analytics has come to the forefront, and people use it as if that's the goal of the game. No, the goal of the game is to win. The best players win. Who cares about being efficient? You may or may not be efficient in the process. But don't take away from Kobe Bryant and call him inefficient, because the brother won a lot. And without him, those Lakers teams ain't winning jack. Screw your efficiency, bro. Basketball is about putting the ball in the basket by any means necessary and beating your man. And that may be physical. That may be mental. It may be understanding, guys' tendencies via numbers. But the numbers are just an avenue. It's just a tool to help you beat your man. But once you step on the court, like Shaq say, I'm just trying to bust your ass and win a game. So if you ever step into a gym and you hear dudes on the sideline talking about efficiency, get out. That's a mid-ass gym. That's a mid-ass gym. Get the hell out. Find somewhere else to hoop. And analytics has been, to me, probably more destructive to basketball and sports than it has been constructive. If we're being honest, as helpful and good as analytics can be, it's been misused and it's been destructive. One of the major pillars of analytics over the last 10, 15 plus years has been the concept of tanking. We talk about efficiency. First of all, efficiency, I can't remember watching a basketball game in the 90s and early 2000s where the announcers talked about efficiency. It was never in the lexicon. Efficiency was never in the NBA basketball lexicon until like 10 years ago. But now everybody's talking about efficiency to sound smart. Bro, it's basketball. Put the ball in the hoop, play defense. It's simple, man. Stop trying to make basketball sound like it's complicated. It ain't. I'm getting the bucket and I'm stopping you. It ain't that hard. Anyway, in addition to efficiency and all this talk, right? Tanking became a major thing in basketball in the last 10, 15 years. And tanking has had a crazy negative to me effect on basketball and on sports in the NBA competitiveness. People talk about Michael Jordan, he played in a watered down league and this and that because there was expansion. LeBron James played in a watered down league with dudes tanking, teams literally trying to lose. If that's not watered down, I don't know what is. For the last 10 to 15 years, there were at least 5 teams who were trying to lose every year, trying to see how many draft picks they can get so they can hopefully get the number 1 pick. So don't tell me Michael Jordan played in a watered-down league with expansion and don't talk about the last 10 to 15 years of LeBron's career where teams were actually trying to lose. Like the Sixers tried to lose for like 4 or 5 years intentionally. And one of those teams who tried to lose intentionally was the Thunder. Like Sam Presti has become a master of this tanking thing. But here's the problem. Now that you've tanked and you got a pretty good team, you got Shea, you got Chet, you got some ballers on your team, that team can no longer tank. So what do? Because now you're in position to be good. But I don't know if the Thunder are a championship contender right now. And I don't know how the Thunder become a championship contender with this current roster. They got some really good players. But I don't know if this team, without making a trade and trading away all those draft picks and maybe even trading away some of these really, really good players that they have in their squad, upgrade that team to become a true championship contender. Yes, we're hoping that Chet grows and we're hoping that Jalen Williams grows. One of my favorite players to watch in the league, by the way. If you don't watch the Thunder, man, you got to watch this team. Like, I love watching the Thunder play. They're amazing. They play offense, defense, both sides of the ball, hustle. Like, they're a true basketball team. I love it. Play high IQ basketball. I love the Thunder. So it's not me, talking bad about the Thunder. It's just saying they're not a true contender right now. And I don't know if they can become a true contender without adding more big-time pieces in the future, which will require them to give up some of these great pieces. So they're probably not going to trade Shea, but you got Chet, you got J-Dub, Jalen Williams, like Josh Giddey. I don't know if it's really a trade piece. He's in the starting lineup. Lou Dort is a great defender. Like, you got some pieces. So do you have to trade these guys, one of these guys, which may blow up your chemistry, to get a piece that will hopefully put you in that championship calendar squad? Championship caliber space with the Denver Nuggets or with the Milwaukee Bucks or the Boston Celtics. I don't know. So it's nice, Thunder, to have tanked. Thank you, Sam Presti. You've been tanking for the last however many years, and you still got job security somehow. And he's great at it. Sam Presti has a really good eye for talent. He's drafted really well. But I'm pretty sure when you tank, you don't tank to be pretty good where they are right now. You tank to hopefully get the championship caliber. So now the hope for the Thunder is that they'll get the championship caliber with this roster and all these picks that they have left. I don't know, who's going to come out of college to actually make that big of a difference or overseas. So they're in a tough spot. I'm not saying they can't do it, but sitting right now, the assumption is that Chet will become All-NBA or something, and J-Dub, Jalen Williams, will become All-NBA. And then, they'll be ready to take the next step into the next tier of teams. But what if that doesn't happen? Did this whole tanking thing after Westbrook left, did all that go to waste? And the Thunder are actually a success story for tanking. There is teams who've been tanking for a long-ass time who still have no idea if their team is going to be good or not. The Wizards, I feel like, have been tanking forever, and that team has been in an everlasting downward spiral. Are they ever going to rebuild? The Detroit Pistons lost a record number of 20-something games earlier this year. And they've been tanking. They got Cade Cunningham. They got some players, but they now have a terrible environment that's just used to losing. They've gotten better over the second half of the season. But does anybody see Detroit becoming, a contender in the next few years? By the time Cade Cunningham's contract is up and he's ready to renegotiate, do we know that Detroit will be contending? Nah, but they tanked. The Spurs lost a ton of games with Pop. They tanked. They tanked to get Wemby. Last couple of years, they finally got Wemby thanks to the NBA. I don't care what y'all say. It's rigged. They got Wemby. They got Wemby now. So theoretically, we think they're going to be good likely, in all likelihood, right? They're not going to be in position again to keep drafting high number 1 draft picks. So then what? Even with Pop now, the Spurs lost, 19, 20 games in a row, whatever it was. So tanking, to me, as good as the Thunder have made it out of it, on the other side, most teams don't. And first of all, the coach never makes it out, right? The coach who agrees to tanking never gets out of there. He never makes it out. Brett Brown got fired from the Sixers, right before they got good. But he was a sacrificial lamb in them tanking. I guess he got paid for losing. That's not a bad gig if you can get it. In football, my Dolphins wanted Brian Flores to tank. He was like, nah, I don't roll like that. And they fired him. And now he's got a lawsuit against the Dolphins. Because if you're a coach, if you tank, you're likely not going to make it out on the other side to rebuild. Few do. Very few do. And even then, there is no guarantee after you tank, even if you got the great player, there's no guarantee that you're going to be in a championship contender. You may just end up being a solid team, like the Thunder, a really good team, but not a real threat to win a championship. In today's game where, there's people moving all the time in free agency, tanking may not get you anywhere. And that's unfortunate. So tanking, to me, right, is a great concept. It sounds nice. It's like an investment into the future. Like in business, you make investments. You take a loss for a while until you can recoup it, your ROI, your return on investment. All that is great. But I don't know if Thunder fans would say, if we don't win a championship with this core, I don't know if Thunder fans would be cool with that. Because they endured a lot of losing to get there. Everybody wants to tank until they get out of tanking and the outcome is not as expected. Or in the case of the Wizards, they never get out of tanking. The Houston Rockets tanked. They're okay now. They got some players, but is Houston going to challenge for a championship anytime soon? No. So that's unfortunate, man. So I like the Thunder. Going back to my point, which was about the Thunder. The Thunder are a really good team. They tanked and they worked to get them to this point. But I believe the goal is to win a championship, and I don't know if tanking is going to end up at the end of the day getting them the final result of a championship contending team. So we'll wait and see. But they got a top 3 team right now. Chet is a baller. He's skinny, but he plays strong. SGA is that guy, unstoppable on offense. Like I said, man, Jalen Williams, one of my favorite players in the league to watch, one of my favorite young players to watch, J-Dub. Plays both ways, both sides of the court. High IQ cat. Lou Dort, great defender. high IQ cat. Heck, I didn't talk about one of the guys that come off the bench. I really like Cason Wallace. You might have seen him in the rookie sophomore game, whatever it's called now, up and coming young risers or new risers, whatever it is, in the NBA All-Star weekend. Really good player, plays really good defense, picking dudes' pockets. I like the OKC Thunder squad. I just don't know if they can win a championship with it after all these years of tanking. So Sam Presti is good. He might have a lifetime contract, but it might be all for nothing at the end of the day if your goal is to win a championship. So we'll see in the playoffs, but I don't know what's next for them. I don't know how they get from this level now that they're not tanking anymore, from being good enough to being championship contender, because Kevin Durant ain't walking through that door no more. Like, Kevin Durant was a generational talent that got him to that level, along with Russell Westbrook, a generational talent. They have great players, but these guys aren't the generational athletes, NBA players that you're like, damn, this brother is inevitable. Yeah, Shea is great. We might call Shea generational when it's all said and done. But Westbrook's athleticism was inevitable. Kevin Durant's greatness and shot making was inevitable. That's what OKC was hoping to get back to. We'll see if they get back there. Great team, though. All right, let me hit on a couple quick things here. First of all, LeBron hit 40,000 points, and everybody went crazy. Oh, LeBron's the GOAT. Now, listen, man, LeBron wasn't the GOAT. This is going to sound like hate. I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be a hater no more. LeBron is tremendous. Top 3 NBA player that I've seen, no doubt. Bron, Kobe, Mike. To me, MJ's a GOAT. Kobe's probably second. But if you say Kobe's third in your eyes, people want to say Kobe's, whatever. Kobe's like the second best player I've seen in my eyes, but LeBron could be second, third, whatever. But if LeBron wasn't your GOAT at 39,999, he ain't your GOAT at 40K, man. He's great. Still in the GOAT conversation. But if he wasn't the best at 39,999 and 39,998 and 39,997, he ain't the GOAT at 40K, all right? Stop it. Stop acting like just because LeBron hit 40K, he's now the GOAT. Nah, if he wasn't the GOAT before, he ain't the GOAT now. But one of the things that came out after all that, right, he had his, little press conference or whatever after the game, and, people celebrated him. He's like, he made the comment that everybody hated on him, from the beginning. Listen, a lot of people make up things in their mind. Competitors make up things in their mind. Tom Brady did it for a long time. And Michael Jordan did it a lot, like made up beefs to motivate them. So Bron is no different than Jordan and, Brady and these guys who make up beefs in their mind and make up people hating them in their mind to drive themselves. Heck, more athletes should do it. Maybe we'll have better players in the league right now. More entertaining league, more driven players. But we didn't hate you like that, Bron. That's in your mind, bro. A few people did. One guy who will remain nameless made his living, made his career, made millions of dollars hating on you, bro. But nobody hated Bron from the beginning, all right? We liked you, man. Some of us still like you and respect you. We may not think you're the GOAT. A lot of us love your game and like you and appreciate your greatness and respect your greatness, even though we don't think you're the greatest of all time. That's neither here nor there. Maybe some teammates didn't like you, the hype, but that's normal. That's typical, right? If you tell somebody in the NBA, 25, 30 years old, that this young 18-year-old is going to come in and take your spot, they're gonna scoff at it. They're not going to like that. So it was natural for Carlos Boozer to say, hey, man, this you telling me this 18-year-old is going to come dominate? Because there's been other high school players who were hyped up and didn't pan out. Kwame Brown was supposed to come do his thing, and he didn't. He was drafted number 1. So it wasn't hate from the beginning, Bron. People didn't hate you. It's just that people were skeptical that a high schooler would come in and dominate. And listen, bro, you've exceeded all expectations. Shout out to you. You are that guy. Nobody is taking away from your accolades. But don't act like the world hated you, bro. Most people loved you. Most people didn't start hating on LeBron until he left Cleveland with this special and taking his talents to South Beach. Most people like this guy. They love this guy's game. He was a two-way player. LeBron was Scottie Pippen 3.0. Like, he was an all-around player, defended, like, offensive game was epic, like, on point. IQ was right there. Like, LeBron from the very beginning was legit. People didn't hate on you. Small percentage, maybe because of the height. But people didn't hate on. People liked you from the beginning, but a lot of people turned their backs on you when you made the decision and went to South Beach, bro, and formed the super team, because that killed the NBA. Not only did it kill the NBA while you were in South Beach, because we knew the East every time was going to basically run through the Heat, but it killed the NBA because those Warriors teams that became a super team don't happen if you don't form your super team in Miami, because you gave dudes a license to feel free to form super teams. Oh, I don't like what's happening. I want to improve my legacy. I'm KD. I'm going to bounce to the Warriors to improve my legacy and form the super team. So for like 7 years, 8 years, the NBA kind of sucked because we knew who the champ was going to be. Because you formed your super team and then the Warriors formed their super team. That's why a lot of people don't like you, bro. But nobody hated you from the beginning like that. Maybe a few. Cats probably didn't like the hype. But from the very beginning, bro, like, people really was messing with Bron until he decided to do that crazy stuff and went to Miami. But again, if that's what you want to say in your mind to drive yourself, so be it. But people didn't hate on Bron like that, dog. It wasn't like that. So I just wanted to clear that up. We didn't hate on you, Bron. So shout out for 40K. If you're the GOAT to some people, you were the GOAT before 40K. If you weren't the GOAT before 40K, you're not the GOAT now. That's just the truth. It's the truth, dog. But here's the deal when it comes to basketball and winning. The Lakers are in a tough spot, all right? The Lakers, while Bron is still good and Bron is still putting up major numbers and did 30 points a game, like I've said before, I don't think the Lakers are championship contenders. So the Lakers are in a tough spot because Bron is still playing good basketball, but he's not going to carry that team to a championship level. They don't beat Denver this year. I don't know how they become a championship contender again. With Bron's style of play, with Bron's heliocentric style of play, I don't know if they become a championship contender. And I don't know if maybe that style of play cost Bron a few championships. Maybe if Bron played off the ball more and sacrificed some of his numbers more, maybe he has a few more chips. I don't know. Maybe the teams he's on would be able to bring in some players who could actually elevate his squads to a championship level. But because Bron was Mr. Do-It-All and thought he could be Mr. Do-It-All forever and still is with the Lakers, I don't know if the Lakers are going to win a championship this year. I doubt they win a championship this year. And I don't know how they win a championship in the future with Bron playing this style. So he'll still put up numbers, but the Lakers are in a tough spot because what do they tell Bron? Playoff ball? And I remember a lot of people hating on Kobe when Kobe got his contract towards the end with the Lakers. You know, he wasn't efficient anymore. He wasn't a good basketball player anymore. Mark Cuban, and people even said he didn't deserve his final contract, and Kobe had to go prove him wrong. I wonder if Mark Cuban can come out and say right now that, the Lakers shouldn't give LeBron another contract. Does Mark Cuban have those balls to say that? Does he have the guts to say that? Because I don't know if the Lakers with Bron the way he is can win another championship. So they're in a tough spot because he's going to continue to put up numbers. And if you get rid of him, people are going to say, well, how can you get rid of LeBron? He's putting up 25, 27 points a game. But playing this style of basketball, the Lakers aren't winning with LeBron. And the Lakers have to come to that realization. It ain't happening. So what do? They're a good team. I actually think they could beat the Thunder. Speaking of the Thunder, the Lakers can beat the Thunder. The Thunder don't want to see the Lakers in the playoffs. I think they could beat the T-Wolves with or without Karl Anthony Towns. Because once I think they could play, Rudy Gobert off the court, which anchors their defense, right? The Lakers can play Rudy Gobert off the court, and once he's off the court, they're a totally different defense. They could beat OKC because OKC has nobody in the lane to stop LeBron from super highway, right? Straight up and down the court. So OKC don't have the size. The T-Wolves, you can play Gobert off the court. So theoretically, like, you would call them challengers and contenders in the West. But they ain't beating the Suns. They don't want to see the Clippers, even though I know they've beaten the Clippers in the regular season. And they probably don't want to see a healthy Suns team. I think the Nuggets, Clippers, and Suns are clearly way better than the Lakers, and they wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs, assuming the Suns are a healthy team. So that leaves them on the outside looking in this contender realm. So what do they do? What do they do with Bron? Yeah, you could get to 45,000, Bron, but you're not winning another championship. So at this point, are you playing for the numbers or are you playing for a ring? Because this Bron collecting stats, playing heliocentric basketball, is not winning another championship with this Lakers team. That's unfortunate, but it's true. So the Lakers are in a tough spot. But shout out to Bron, though. The king of stats. I'm just playing, man. Don't hate. No hate. No hate, Bron. Nah, man. The guy's in the GOAT conversation. There's it's all in his head. He put it in his head to drive himself, but really, people ain't hate Bron like that. Until you left Cleveland to go to Miami and form a super team with D. Wade and Bosh, people are messing with you, dog. And then you mess up the league for a while, and people was like, man, this sucks. We already know who the champ's going to be. And then the Warriors came and did the same thing because you enabled it. And then the league was messed up for like 8 years because of you, bro. Ain't nothing to it. But this is true. Still great, though. On another note, people were talking about Bronny. People saying, Bronny, LeBron made a statement that Bronny can help the Lakers right now. And ESPN comes out saying, well, Bronny is like a second-round pick in 2025. Not even in 2024. Bronny, they're saying, projecting him as a second-round pick in 2025. And LeBron's like, man, get off this guy's back. He's still a kid. Let him grow. First of all, Bron, you're the one that put him out there and said he can help the Lakers. But here's my thought. I don't know if this is what LeBron thought, but I honestly think LeBron was right when he said Bronny can help the Lakers right now. LeBron was right when he said Bronny can help the Lakers right now because in my mind, I don't think, it's about the scoring, right? People say, well, he's only averaging 5.5 points a game in college. Nah, in the NBA, he would be a 3-and-D guy getting wide open threes. But if he has, and I honestly have not watched a single minute of Bronny in college. But if he has the IQ with his athleticism, there are plenty of guys in the NBA right now who, if they went back to college, would not average 10 points. And they probably don't have the IQ of Bronny either. But there's plenty of guys in the NBA right now who, if they went back to college, would not give people buckets. So people look at Bronny and they're like, well, he wouldn't be able to do anything in the NBA right now because of what he's averaging in college, assuming that if he came to the league right now, if he went to the Lakers, they would be asking him to drop 20 a game. No, they would asking him to lock people up. Can you D up? And can you hit open shots? So not everyone in the league was a great scorer in college. And sometimes I'm watching basketball now, even on the Lakers, and maybe that's what LeBron was referring to. But even on the Lakers, I'm watching dudes who are like, you're really just athletic. You're really not a great basketball player. You're just athletic. So, yeah, Bron is right. Bronny could have came in and played for the Lakers right now because there are cats of the Lakers who are really just athletic. Bron ain't going to say it. I'm going to say it for him. There are guys playing in the league right now. There are guys on the Lakers who really ain't ballers like that. They're not basketball players. They're really running around just being athletic. So, Bronny could slide right in, dog. So people to say, well, Bronny's not an NBA player and he'll only get in the league because of his father's name. There are hella cats in the league who are in the league because of their last name, because of who they know. That's just a fact. If you watch basketball, there are some cats in the league, their pops played in the league, or their pops played college. They know they have the connections. They're connected to somebody, their uncle or something, and that's why they're in the league, because they're really just running around being athletic. Like, that's how it is. So don't tell me Bronny can't play in the league, even though he's averaging 5 points right now. Like, oh, Bronny's going to get in the league only because of Bron. There are hella cats in the league because of their pops who their uncle is. That's just a fact. Dude's just running around being athletic, no basketball knowledge at all. So what makes Bronny any different? But that's just me, though. So get off the kid's back. Let them grow. Bronny, get in the gym. Work on your game, bro. And it'll play out. Stay in school, couple years. Work on your game. Get in the gym. You'll be successful, man. He's got the genetics. He got the athleticism. Just work on your game. I think he can make the NBA. That's just me. All right, couple more quick hits. The Nuggets are the favorite. All right, they're the favorite to win the championship. Right now, I don't see anybody really ready to beat them, although they're not unbeatable. So the Nuggets are the favorite, but they're not unbeatable. The Thunder, who I've been talking about, the Thunder are not true contenders to me, but the Thunder can beat the Nuggets. Of all the teams in the West, the Thunder can give the Nuggets problems. I don't know why that is. All right, so I don't think the Thunder, having said all that right about the Thunder, I don't think they're true contenders, but of all the teams in the West, they can give the Nuggets problems. But the Nuggets are favorites, but they're not unbeatable. I think the Clippers can beat them as well when they're fully healthy. But I still don't trust James Harden in the playoffs. I still don't trust playoff P. So we'll see. The Suns are a contender if they're fully healthy. I still feel like the Suns need a point guard, all right? People assume, as long as you got somebody to bring up the court and he can make a couple passes, and he got handles, he can be a PG. No, man. The point guard has a special responsibility. A true point guard has a special responsibility, dog, to be able to organize the team, to know when somebody is hot, to give them the ball, where to give them the ball, to set them up. Like, you can't just run anybody out there and say, oh, just because you can bring the ball up the court, just because you got handles, you can be a PG. And I feel like the Suns are kind of on that edge trying to say, okay, Booker's our point guard. Well, I don't know if Booker really has that PG mentality. Yeah, he averages 6 assists a game, but I don't know if Book is a scorer at heart, man. I don't know if he has that mentality to set guys up, like if he's having an off night to still be able to run the point guard. I don't know. That's just me. So the Suns have a good team. They still need some frontline depth, right? When Nurkic gets in trouble. They still have bad fourth quarters where it seems like they can't get an easy shot for nothing. Everything seems like a tough shot when teams get up in them. But I think the biggest problem is that they don't have a true organizer. All right? KD's great. Brad is great. Book is great scoring. But I still feel like the Suns are limited in the playoffs. They might get exposed for not having a true PG, someone who truly understands how to set the table and keep the offense operating and not just dudes going one-on-one at each other and passing when they can't get their shot off, which is different. A PG knows how to get everybody involved. A scorer who happens to pass the ball goes for a shot, tries to get his shot off, and if he can't, he passes it. Two different mindsets. So we'll see what happens with the Suns. This might be a hot take. I don't think it really is. I'm going to say it right now. The Celtics aren't winning the championship, all right? I may be wrong here, but I'm going to say it right now. The Celtics are not winning the chip this year. And Celtics fans are going to have to ask themselves the tough questions. Do we break up the duo of Jalen and Jason? Do we break them up after Jalen just got 300 and Jason's probably going to get stacks? Stacks on stacks? The Celtics just aren't dependable when their shots aren't falling, man. When they ain't hot, they're not dependable. I know they seem like they went toe-to-toe with the Nuggets, but I promise you, if the Celtics went to the finals and played the Nuggets will sweep them. I don't think those two teams are as close as it seems. And that's because the Nuggets, when it comes down to it, they can get easy shots, man. The Celtics don't have a way to get easy shots. It's either right now, they're still playing either the layup or the three-point game. And they have no way right now of manufacturing easy shots for whatever reason. Whereas the Nuggets, like whenever things ain't going well, dump it down to the Joker, easy 2-foot layup, man. Up and under, Kevin McHale shot. So to me, the Celtics are like a finesse team. Yeah, when their shots are falling, they look great. Like my Miami Dolphins in the NFL. When Cheetah's getting wide open, they look great. When they're playing bad defenses, Tua looks great. But when you get all up in them, I watched the Cavs get up in them and beat them like this past week. Like, when you get all up in the Celtics, they struggle, man. They struggle. Yeah, they look great against the Warriors when they had a bad game plan. But right now, the Celtics don't look like a championship team right now. And I'm telling you, if they play the Heat in the playoffs, I would not be surprised if the Heat took them out again, even with Porzingis. Because right now, they're still layup or three. And that type of basketball does not work in the playoffs because the best teams ain't going to let you do that, man. You need variety. Drew Holiday, great pickup. I thought Drew and Porzingis would put them over the top, but they're still the same old Celtics, man. They're more finesse to me. They're not physical. They don't have true dogs. I know that word is overused, but the Celtics don't have the true dogs that you're looking for in the playoffs. The Cats were like, nah, we're not losing today, fam. We ain't. I don't care what you do. We ain't losing. Jason Tatum's a great player, but I don't see that mindset, dog, that, yo, this is my game, dog. I don't care what you do. This is my series. I'm the man. I'm taking us to the chip. Like, people misconstrue, like the Warriors, when they were in their run, even without KD, people misconstrued the Warriors as like a finesse team. No, the Warriors, they look finesse, but underneath the hood, the Warriors were like a really physical team because they had Draymond back there, like a physical dude, like up in your face, playing physical defense. Like, they weren't just out there shooting threes. People misconstrue that and think that the Warriors were just shooting threes. Nah, man. Tef is a tough SOB, tough cat. Like, you weren't just going to run on the court and push them around. Well, we give up. Let me get up in them and challenge them a little bit. They had a really tough team, tough veterans, man. They had backbone, and I don't see a backbone with the Celtics. Their shots not falling. Teams get up in them a little bit. They struggle. As much as I want to see them win, as much as I like their squad, I like their talent, I'm afraid they'll get beat early. I'm afraid Milwaukee's going to beat them. I feel like Milwaukee, as loosey-goosey as they look right now, I feel like Milwaukee, even in their current state, probably looks more dependable to me in the playoff series than the Celtics. As much as I feel like Milwaukee has stuff to work on, they got to work on the chemistry with Dame and with Giannis. I feel like they will beat the Celtics in the playoffs. And I think Miami, as bad as they look right now, would beat them in the playoffs. I'm telling you, the Celtics, first round, they're going to go 6 games with whoever makes it to that 8th seed. And they're going to go 6 games in that playoff series, and we're going to wonder why. We're going to wonder why. Because they just don't have it. They don't have the, we're going to put y'all out in 4 games to get up out of here and move on to the next round. When the going gets tough, I don't see them like buckling down and say, hey man, we here, y'all, we ain't going nowhere. In fourth quarters, like against the Nuggets, like they take tough shots. Like, you got to be able to get easy buckets, man. Like, get Porzingis' tall behind down near the rim so he can get some easy buckets, bro. Find that competitive spirit, which they seem to lack. If they do, they can make a long run. If they don't listen to your boy, sorry, Celtics fans. So I think the Bucks are probably going to win the East. If they don't run into the Heat, I feel like the Heat can beat any of these guys, even though they don't look that great right now. But I think the Bucks are going to win the East. They figured out the defense. They just need to get Dame, like I said, need to get Dame and Giannis on the same page. But I think the Bucks can win the East. But just don't choke against the Heat, and they'll be all right. And one last thing on the NBA. Wemby is putting up major numbers. Wemby looks ridiculous, man. Athletic, obviously tall, long, high IQ. His 3-ball is falling now. Like, he scares dudes when they get in the paint. So far, Wemby is as advertised. What I would ask for Wemby, if I were coaching Wemby, and obviously I'm not a coach of Wemby, but if I were coaching San Antonio, I would tell Wemby, look, man, you're great right now, but if you're truly going to be the greatest, as people are calling you or wanting you to be, I think Wemby's going to have to hit the gym and get stronger, because I watch Alperen Sengun from Houston absolutely body him. And if he's going to stay this skinny, dudes are going to body him. Sengun is going to body him. The Joker is going to body him. And Embiid's going to body him. So anytime you play Wemby and you have a big-time center who can hold up, who's firm and sturdy, they're going to body him. So if I'm Pop, I'm telling, hey, man, you're going to have to get stronger. You don't have to be muscled up and jacked up, but you're going to have to definitely get stronger. And maybe he hasn't hit his man strength yet. Well, he definitely hasn't hit his man strength yet. But he's definitely going to have to get stronger. And he's definitely going to have to get his butt in the paint. I know it's cute to shoot threes, but your God-given talent is that you're 8 feet tall. Get your butt in the paint, get stronger, and then you are unstoppable because you catch the ball in the paint, you turn around and shoot, you won't even see anybody. It's you in the rim every time. But you're going to have to get stronger to do that. So I know it's all nice and pretty for him to hit step backs and tween, and it's like a marvel to see, Wemby do these things. I agree. It's great to watch. But if Wemby's going to be truly great in my mind, I think he's going to have to get stronger, and he's going to have to get in the paint more. Still be able to shoot, but the main feature of your game is going to have to be getting in the paint, bro, and dominating the paint. Dudes can't just move you off the box so easily. And if he does that, then yeah, he has a chance to become the GOAT. Because he has the skill, he has the IQ, the desire, it's all there. But if he stays this lightweight dude doing these things on the perimeter, I don't know if he reaches his full potential. So if I were his coach, I would say, hey, man, you're all good shooting threes. Keep practicing those. But more importantly, get stronger so you can get in the paint. So on offense, you could dominate dudes. And on defense, Sengun ain't pushing you around like that. And Embiid ain't pushing you around like that so easily. You ain't got to get 300 pounds. You ain't got to get muscled up like Giannis. But he definitely has to get stronger. And that's the risk when you draft someone like that, right? You hope they get stronger and they fill out. But if he doesn't, then what is he? Is he just a tall guy that's real athletic? So that would be my advice. But he's great, though. Great help defender, smart cat. Now, he's everything you want in a basketball player. I have no complaints about Wemby. I have no complaints about Wemby except for get in the gym, get a little stronger, get your butt closer to the paint, to the rim, so that you can take advantage of your God-given height and dominate these boys. That's my recommendation for Wemby. All right, last topic, and I'm out of here. The Combine was on this week. Listen, man, I am so confused about the Combine and the pre-draft process. It's like, are my eyes lying to me? So after the Combine, right, all of a sudden, J.J. McCarthy has shot up the boards, and J.J. McCarthy is like one of the top 5 quarterbacks. So I'm like, what the hell? Did I miss something this college football season? And Drake May, who people thought would have been a number 1 pick last year, top 2 pick at worst, people are like, he's not one of the top 5 quarterbacks. I'm like, what? What happened? Do I not know? Listen, I'm not a football expert, but I'm like, do I not know what I'm watching? I watched J.J. McCarthy look midder than mid. How is he in people's top 5 quarterbacks? And I've seen this happen before, man. Blaine Gabbert, people shot Blaine Gabbert up the draft board to the point where people were like, Blaine Gabbert should be the number 1 overall draft pick. Heck, I'm a Florida State fan, and I watched Christian Ponder shoot up the draft board. I watched E.J. Manuel shoot up the draft board as a Florida State fan. And I knew these guys weren't really that good, unfortunately, as a Florida State fan. So I've seen these pre-draft processes, and I've seen these combine things, and I'm sitting there watching, how the hell did J.J. McCarthy, who we watched at Michigan, sometimes look really bad, but definitely super mid, shoot up draft boards like that just because of the combine? And it's not like he looked amazing at the combine. It's not like his arm strength looked off the charts at the combine. But somehow he shot up the draft board. And Drake May has fallen off. And people are saying Caleb Williams is not going to be the first quarterback taken, even though I never bought into the Caleb Williams hype anyway. So I'm like at the point where I'm like, I don't know if I really know anything about football. I don't know if I know anything about the evaluation process, and I probably don't. But as a fan, it's tough to watch Michigan play, and then somebody's going to come around and tell me, yeah, this guy, JJ, is going to be your franchise QB. I don't believe that for 1 second. So go ahead and draft them in the top 5 if you want to. QBs are overvalued anyway. But I'm willing to bet, not that I bet anything, I'm willing to bet JJ McCarthy is not the franchise quarterback that people are talking about right now. And they may all be smoke screen, I don't know. But I watched those Michigan games, man. I can't think of a game where we're like, oh, man, Michigan won because of JJ. I don't even think he's a good system quarterback. He just didn't look good. He didn't look accurate. His arm strength didn't look good. Like, I don't know what people are seeing, man. Not to call the kid out, but come on, man. I don't know what people are seeing. And it's happened before, and damn it. Yeah. I don't know of any example where a QB was really mid in college and went on to, like, greatness in the pros. People can say Tom Brady. Tom Brady was splitting snaps. But when Tom Brady played, he looked really good at Michigan, in my opinion, from what I remember. So Brady might be the only example where a dude was like okay in college and turned out to be great. So take your chances. Draft the guy. Yeah, he went to Michigan too, by the way, JJ. But I didn't see a top 5 quarterback when I was watching him at Michigan. So for him to be the top 5, people have him at like 3, 4 top quarterback in this year's draft. Okay. We'll see. Take your chances, fellas. We'll see what happens there. So, yeah, I guess I don't know anything about football. I don't know anything about QB play, who's good and who's not. So I'm going to just sit back and watch now. Because clearly cats know way more than I do. Clearly. All right, y'all. I'm going to leave it there. Appreciate y'all hanging out once again, as always. But I'm going to catch y'all boys next time. People, not just boys, not just the fellas. I'm going to catch you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out. Mike, Sports and the Real Peace.
I'm going straight to the top. Just put the stack on the clock. I am Ray Allen's a shot. I'm going straight to the top.